I
While
could
you
fight a
find
little
that, I'll
for it.
answer one of these questions. So
Sure,
Gil
sure.
asked, "What are your thoughts on Meet Kevin buying the jet?" And like you already got Echo's thoughts on that. My thoughts are it's not a tax write-off, and the reason why. So a lot of you guys don't know this. I actually have a very small corporate tax company that I operate.
Uh-oh.
I do not advertise it because I'm trying to get rid of my clients. So I raise their bill every year so that they'll leave me, but they don't leave me. They just keep coming back. But um, the the what you got to understand about jets is that any capital item, you're only going to get a tax write-off from the amount of the capital cost of the asset. So call it $10 million times your tax rate, and so you're still going to have a net payout of cash. So you're not actually saving anything. So when people think of tax write-offs, it's not actually like you're getting this thing for free. You're still paying money. You're just paying a little bit less. That's the first thing. The second thing is hangar fees, operating fees, maintenance fees, pilot fees, fuel costs, all that. You're not saving any money. So to suggest that you're doing it from any sort of like financial perspective doesn't make sense. Sorry, go ahead with your Tesla comment.
Oh no, you're good. We could talk about that later. This is more important. This is great because you have real experience in this, so you know. So my question would be because when Kevin texted me, he said he's going to save about $5 to $6 million by doing this, and you're saying probably not.
Well, I'm gonna say that the way he might save $5 or $6 million is previously he might have been using a subscription service to having access to private jets, like a NetJets or something.
Mhm.
So it might be like a lease versus own decision for him. So I don't want to say that he may not necessarily be saving cash. That might be how he's saving cash, where he's flying so much that it just might make sense for him to own. But I just want to clear up the misconception where people say where people think when somebody says, "Hey, this is a tax write-off," that it means that he's getting it for free. He's not getting it for free. He's still paying money for this. Plus, I think just the annual operating costs will sort of offset any material tax write-off that he would get. But you really have to understand his tax situation, which I don't. So I'm
Right.
purely
Yeah.
speculating as well, right?
Right. So do you think overall this is a bad decision by him overall?
It is so I you're gonna hate my answer here. And
Mhm.
and the reason why is because I think I try to look at it from both perspectives. So um it could be a bad decision from the perspective of I don't think he's popular enough to get noticed in an airport, especially with a mask on. So like if you're
Yeah.
like a lot of people, like a lot of my friends who have private jets, I don't really. Let me call them acquaintances, they're not really my friends. They do it because either it's time, they just need to get places very in like a time sensitive format,
Mhm.
or it's they get noticed at airports. I don't think he's popular enough to get noticed. I mean, he might, but with a
No.
mask on, maybe not. But the second thing is, the time perspective. He might want to save time. So from that perspective, sometimes time is money. So it might be a good investment from that perspective. From a cost perspective, it might also be a good investment because if he's using a subscription service and now he goes to a capital cost model, that might be a good rationale as well. Where I think it could be a bad decision is if he's not getting at least that time saving. So like if he's not finding ways to generate more income as a result of that time savings, then of course, what is he really investing in?
Mhm.
So it's a terrible answer, but I'm just trying to be fair.
No, it's a great answer. You're giving a different perspective, and we appreciate that. So then, my next thing will be, can he really afford it? Because I would argue no, because again, when I talked to him, he said he had to sell Tesla stock in order to pay the down payment. And we all know your stocks are long term. That's your long term money. You're not supposed to sell your stocks to
Yeah,
make big purchases. If you don't have the money in your account, then you can't afford it. That's the way I look at it, unless you got some type of passive income or something coming in. But overall, it doesn't look like he could afford it, given the fact that he had to sell Tesla stock at a huge loss to come up with the money.
yeah, and the only way I can talk about that is from my own experience. Now, I bought my dream car maybe like 5 years ago. Now, I don't talk about what cars I own or
Mhm.
houses I live in or whatever, but it's actually funny. This will make me sound like a bit of a douche, but like I remember one of these YouTubers doing like a house walkthrough, and it was like he was pretending like it was like this very expensive house, and like relatively it was expensive, like 800 grand house or something. And I'm just like,
Okay. Yeah.
if you think that that's an expensive house, man, like, God, you know, but I'll just pause there. I don't want to come off like more of like a douchebag, but like the point I'm making is like, you don't have to talk about how much money you have, what you drive, all that stuff to come off as intelligent and for people to recognize whether or not you know how to deploy capital. Game knows game. Game sees game. You know, see what I'm saying?